Last episode, I think I made a mistake. I said at the end of things we were coming back for our youth intake, but it has dawned on me that I was never actually given a preview, and I don't think there is an intake this March. It's the 26th in game. No one's arrived. We'll hope that resolves itself by next season. In the meantime, Lewes have offered me a new contract, so we are here for a little bit longer, I guess. They've offered me £270 a week. It might be that I'm a weirdo. I would rather have £250 just so it's a round number. Maybe that's just me. It's like when you set the TV volume, you either have it on an even number or a multiple of 5. Let me know what team you're on down in the comments. And if you leave it on just any old number that's not a multiple of 5 or a multiple of 2, I'm not sure we can be friends. I'm starting to think that today's just going to be a good day. We have been granted our coaching course, our National C licence. We're off to a start here. Obviously, when you look at our manager profile, there's plenty of room for improvement, but a coaching badge is something. Okay, can confirm it's April. There was no youth intake this year. Oh dear. But you know what? We are back to end season number 1 here. Our aim was mid-table. We will get mid-table this year. With 4 games left of the season, we find ourselves in 12th place. We've actually been in a really good run of form lately that I'm going to cover. But today, we're coming back to take on Aveley and also do an away day against them. And with us securing safety for another season, I have been able to secure some of the first-team players that weren't on proper deals onto part-time deals. Dan Bassett is signed through to the end of next season. And elsewhere, Ryan Bernal, who's been absolutely essential to our team at right back, he is signed through to 2027 as well. Now, of course, last episode we got back-to-back wins, back-to-back clean sheets. Since then, well, it's been good lately, but we did get off to a rough start. The first of these 2 defeats against the team in the relegation zone. It was 1-1 going into the last 10 minutes, and then we gave away a brain-dead penalty, and they scored from the spot to win 2-1. This was a really disappointing result. And the other defeat we had was by a single goal margin as well, although on this occasion we found ourselves 3 goals down very early doors. They had 20 shots across the game. They dominated. If there is to be a silver lining, Billy Clark, he got his first goal for 25 hours. Sadly, it didn't inspire a comeback in what remained of the game. The media were bigging him up. The social media comments you get on news items, they weren't that kind to Billy. But I'm just glad he scored, and he has actually started to be one of our best players. And well, he'd score in our very next game against Canvey Island, another team in the relegation zone. None of these goals by Billy pretty, but a nice little header from point-blank range secured us the win here. And from there, we've just been really steady and, well, stable, I suppose. St Albans, we beat 2-0. They're up in 8th place. That was a great result. Against Ramsgate away from home, a 3-2 win. They got a late penalty to make it a little nervy. And against Wingate and Finchley, perhaps the worst game of the season. I don't know why I've clicked on this game. There's nothing to show you. Of course, when we arrived at the club, the board told us that they wanted a mid-table finish, despite the fact the team was just above the drop. We've gone on to navigate that, and I almost feel like those expectations are just a reflection of how good this team is. We're 17 points above the drop. There's only 12 points left on offer. Safety has been secured, obviously a new deal signed, but doesn't mean we're resting on our laurels. And I suppose we'll now segue into a little bit of a tutorial segment of the video. It's not really a tutorial, it's just a pro tip. 1st of April, most important date when you're in the lower leagues in Football Manager. You'll get this news inbox item telling you that clubs are set to release youth players. And essentially what that means is that every single team across all levels of England have told their youth players, hey, we're not going to sign you to professional deals. You can now move on a free transfer at the end of the season if you find a move. And when you're in the lower leagues, that's really, really important. And you can take advantage of this using the player search screen. First and foremost, there seems to be a weird issue that I've discovered, which is that you can have no scouting budget left, and yet you can still kind of set your scouting package to something, and it does actually update. Despite the fact we can't afford it, we're going to put the scouting range on England. And then for the player search, you just want to have contract status is youth, playing division is, for example, in this case, we'll go Premier League. And now we have a load of Premier League trainees that have been informed that they can leave on free transfers that we could potentially just offer contracts to. Now, obviously, for this save game, I am playing with attribute masking off. That is simply so that when I look at other people's players, especially if you've never managed in these lower leagues, you can get an idea of how good the players we're playing against are. But it also does help with just speeding up transfer windows where I don't need to scout players. But in this instance here, I can simply now just offer all of these players trials if I want. Or you could just scout them, but we don't have the budget for that. You might have also noticed when it comes to the clubs that are being listed here, Crystal Palace, Brentford, Bournemouth, Fulham, they are teams in London, well, South London mostly, and on the south coast in the case of Bournemouth. And that is because down in these regional levels, Your actual location of your team does matter for the players that you can attract. If I switch the league to the Championship, there's now 52 players that we can look at. In fact, we're casting a further net than I realised we would with some of these players that are available. Are any of them any good? Archie Taylor, centre-back? I mean, at 17 years old, he is very, very good. He wants to be a breakthrough prospect. I'm scared he's going to ask for a lot of money. Yeah, he's asked for £300. But the nice thing with these players is they won't all immediately sign for other clubs. So what I could do in this instance is add Archie Taylor to my shortlist. And then if he gets released at the end of his contract, or even in a few months' time, his wage demands might be that little bit lower. I'm just going to scout all these players and hope it doesn't cost too much. I mean, to be fair, in terms of the club's finances, we've actually got £200,000 in the bank balance, which is a great spot for a team at this level. Probably should acknowledge that we are currently over our recruitment budget in terms of the wage budget. I'm hoping that's going to get bumped up when the season rolls over. We've mostly operated within our wage kind of restrictions. It's not like we've signed new players, and that's the reason we're over budget. The reason we're over budget is mostly because I've taken it upon myself really just to lock in a load of our first team players onto actual part-time deals. Anyway, it's time to take on Aveley. Yeah, we're doing an away day first though. This was the team that could have been, if you believe in destiny, in episode 0, the job hunt. We didn't end up at them. Let's go see what we've been missing out on. So for today's away day, we are heading to Aveley. In case you haven't realised, because we're in the regional leagues, most of our away days are going to be in the south of England. Aveley is just over here. I have no idea where the football team is. Okay, it turns out I was looking right at it. Here is Aveley, and in fact, #United also play at this stadium, so it's a 2-for-1 from above. The main stand looks quite modern. Also, the car park's looking impressive. Right, let's click the little man. Let's drop down next to the stadium and see what we can see. The stadium's meant to be here. Oh, okay, so this is in 2008. So did I get the stadium was probably built recently on this plot of land. If I go round, oh, okay, we're here. We've arrived. Okay, it's not the most welcoming of signs, is it? Proud members of the National League. Someone is going to have to tell them to take that sign down now, aren't they? Welcome to Parkside. Why does Parkside feel like the most generic football stadium name ever? Also, the road that we're on is Park Lane. I mean, they've got branded sliding doors. They've got their name written on the ground. Can we go in the car park, please? Oh, we can. It is an annoyingly nice car park. I don't like how inclusive they are of cyclists, though. Like, you don't need to give the bikes cover. Let them have wet seats. It's just a generic car park. They need to plant some trees. That's all I'm going to say. I'm a little bit concerned that we've exhausted all the street view options there. Because, yeah, there's not any more. I was just looking around the ground to see if there's anything else to do. There's just fields. I've looked around. There is nothing to do in Aveley. Bullet dodged as far as I'm concerned. Parkside, more like car park, and that's all that they have on their side. I'm giving them a 3 out of 10. Lack of footage on the inside. Only 300 seats. Pathetic. I will say, I'm looking at Aveley's key players here. Albie Armin's a very, very good footballer. Well, I was going to try and sign him. Apparently, we don't have the financial muscle. I suppose that's maybe a hint that we should get into things today. In terms of tactics, I have actually tinkered a little bit with the in-possession tactic. I've ditched the 3 strikers in favour of 2 inside forwards. That is one of the reasons I think Clark has started to get a few more goals for us. With the 3 strikers, we just lacked a little bit in the way of build-up play. Often the wing-backs got isolated in possession. And I feel like this system maybe is going to just let us be a little bit more fruitful going forward. In terms of the team, Shea Hutchinson has been absolutely awful lately. And with Billy the Kid, now Billy Clark, the goal scorer, in fine form, I feel like I just have to play him. Now, we are ahead of Aveley in the table. Of course, I nearly ended up being their manager accidentally. Now, I want to get some revenge. I'll tell you what, their team's got a lot of HD photos, haven't they? Have we got HD photos by comparison? You know what? We actually have. I always get scared in the lower leagues when another team has high-quality photos because it means their players must be good. I've not really mentioned it. I'm a little bit worried about that whole youth intake thing where we've not had a youth intake season 1. I'm going to hope it appears for season 2. Juan, giving it wide to Foxwell. Foxwell, of course, in on loan. We have tabled a contract offer to him to sign him at the end of the season on a free transfer when his contract at his Welsh club expires because he has been great at left-back. And is it just me, or do we see one of these shots every episode at the moment? Aveley in possession through the middle. Hamilton plays it. Pask reads it nicely. We have got a 100% record in live commentaries to try and keep up at this club this season. What is that? What is happening? Why did I... Okay, it's fine. I was about to say, why did I mention anything? We're good. Everyone remain calm. We've played 4 matches in live commentaries, though, and won every single one, and I think this might be the easiest of the games we've played in live commentaries. We're unbeaten in our last 3. I feel like we should be winning this. Bennett takes it down with his long leg. He's bringing it forward now. No one in support. He's all on his own. He's going to have to hold it up forever. In the end, he gives it back to Bernal. Plenty of players now in the attack to deal with. Clark is there. I thought he was going to score his first goal for the cameras whilst you were here. Not sure I mentioned it yet. We are mathematically not able to get in the playoffs. Really here, we're just playing to try and bully a team. Which, I mean, we have done in everything but the goal scoring so far. I've praised the players and everyone looks switched off. I'm trying to motivate them all. Has it worked? Kind of. Foxwell over the ball. He has a one with a left foot, does our left back. On this occasion, he gives it shot to Chadwick, who's known to score bangers. He gives it to Clark. And I really want Billy to score today. I do feel a little bit bad for singling out Clark in the title and thumbnail of yesterday's video. With that in mind, I'm keeping him on the pitch. We're bringing in Hutchinson up top for Bennett for some fresh legs. And Erezki Hamuchene, we're going to keep him in the team. I don't know why I've said it like he's a fine Italian dish. We're going to bring him in at right mid for us. He's a player who's played less minutes because he can't play at striker, but with the shift to inside forwards, does allow me to use him a little bit more. There has been so many 0-0 draws for us this season. Admittedly, right, on this occasion, we've been the better team. They've not had a shot on target. But I really don't want to have another 0-0. I want us to win if we can. Armsworth is bringing it forward out from the back. Bernal looking to cut inside. The number 2, that is a ball and a half from fullback to fullback. Foxwell, players queuing up. Hutchinson is there. On off the bench, he's not scored in ages, he has scored now. The ball by Bernal here was stupendous. To be fair, Foxwell did well to get it under his spell and keep it in play, and Hutchinson, arriving late, peeled off a little bit, and he just smooshes it home. 3 minutes of added time at the end of this game, they've still not had a shot on target. I'm not going to pretend that we've been at our very best, but we have done enough here. Great defensive display yet again. Look at those ratings for all our defenders, all above a 7, and our wingbacks both getting 7.8. Look at that. All those players are for trials to have accepted them. So we're going to get some nice little scout reports. Also, as I mentioned, Hutchinson had been on a goal-scoring drought. He hadn't scored in 10 hours. So I'm quite glad he scored there because he is one of the bigger earners at the club. Now, we have got 3 games left of the season against Whitehawk, Welling and Dartford. There is nothing on the line for any of them. I'm probably going to play a rotated team, keep players happy. I'm going to join you towards the end of the month, have a little bit of a season recap, and talk about the plans for the summer. Tomorrow's transfer special is going to be a big one. Nothing in this video game makes sense. It's the 5th of April, and I've randomly had a youth intake appear. It definitely said March when we checked earlier. And apparently there's like actually good players here. I'm so confused. Has anyone had a youth intake arrive late? Was the bus stuck in traffic? I mean, naturally, when I see 3.5 star and 2.5 star, I get excited. It's always worth remembering these stars are relative to your current first team players. So these guys might be starters for us. The first player we have is Chris Watson, who's actually the weirdest centre-back I've ever seen. He's a centre-back. I mean, he's got free heading, and he's a playmaker, isn't he? He's got 14 technique. I mean, surely this guy's just a midfield playmaker, right? I mean, add him to the list of players we're going to have to train to play defensive mid. Nothing about this boy makes sense, but he looks pretty good. And the other player we have here is Michael King, left winger, 16. He looks quality. 12 pace, 12 acceleration, 14 agility, 12 finishing as well, 14 passing. He's very good. Like, very, very good. He wants £25 a week. How do I give him the longest deal possible? I want to lock in a 1-year optional contract extension and an extension after 5 games in the league. I'll pay you £35 for it. He's too good. He's too good. Michael King, you might just be the birth of a legend. Also, he loves to curl the ball. What's his other trait? Tries to play way out of trouble. I guess that's okay. Jordan Hamp can play on the other wing. He might be just as good. He's 15, 2-star current ability, 5-star potential. Like, there's some very good players here. I'll be honest, I think some of it is that my perspective of what is good and what isn't good is somewhat warped by the team that we're managing, but nevertheless, get Jordan on a long-term deal. And we've also negotiated Chris Watson, the centre-back, who's definitely not a centre-back, on a new deal. Worth noting with these players, these deals are actually through to the end of June in 2 years' time. They can only sign these deals when they turn of age. And of age, I mean 16. You're not allowed to sign a full-time deal before that. I mean, Russell Wardley also came in the intake. He's not bad as a creative 16-year-old defensive mid. I'm actually shocked at how good this intake's been. Still don't really understand why it arrived in April. And we didn't get a preview either. Is it because we didn't have a head of youth development until after the preview date? I have no idea. Either way, Mark Pike, our assistant manager / head of youth development, he has cooked. Anyway, it's only the day after the Aveley game. I'm going to go play the final 3 matches of the season, and I'll join you at the end of things where maybe some of those youngsters will have played matches. Isn't there something so Football Manager about being a team nicknamed the Rucks that have literally a castle like a chess piece on their badge? And then Michael King comes through the youth intake. He's got 3 goals in 3 games. We had 3 games left of the season. I figured stick him in the first team. 40 seconds into his debut against Whitehawk, he popped up with a goal. And from there, well, he continued to be involved in the game. A through ball to Billy Clark got us a second goal inside the first 15 minutes. Questionable defending on the interception. And while Clark would repay the favour in the second half, setting up King for his second goal of the match. And yeah, man of the match on his debut. Admittedly, against Welling United, not quite as impressive. A late 1-0 win, Danny Bassett with the 85th minute winner. And whilst we could only draw against Dartford in the final game of the year, King scoring yet again put a smile on my face. Not the perfect end to the year, but we did choose to play some youngsters, including Jordan Hamp, who actually got man of the match in this game against Dartford. And speaking of the youngsters, Watson, the centre-back, who's definitely not a centre-back. I'm training him to play defensive mid. I've actually been playing him as an advanced centre-back with dribbling set to less. He did quite well. I mean, I say that. 6.87 rating in 3 games. He's got game time. Whether or not he's done well, maybe I'm stretching the truth a little. But with those results there, we have wrapped up season 1 here at Lewes. We sit 10th in the league after 42 games played, 60 points to our name, a good season, only 10 points off the playoffs too. And for the second half of the season, whilst we weren't at the very tip-top of the standings, we were in 6th, which would have been narrowly missing out on the playoffs had we had this form in the first half of the year. But make no mistake, I think we're in a good direction now. We went unbeaten for our last 7 league games. Of course, the Aveley result was nice. A couple of draws in there, and yeah, some clean sheets. I mean, I say some clean sheets. Lots of clean sheets, actually. We actually had the joint most clean sheets in the league, with 15 across 42 games. Admittedly, lots of nil-nils in there, but if there's no denying that from a defensive point of view, we really shored things up in the second half of the year. I suppose tactically, the question has to be asked, is the 5-4-1-2 passive? Does it limit our ability going forward? I think we're going to have to work on our tactical system a little bit going into next year, but I think there's the foundations for something. There are still a handful of players yet to commit their long-term future to the club. To be honest, of all these players, I think Calm Bennett is the only player who I'm desperate to keep on a part-time deal going into next year. When I talk to him, though, he wants to be a star player, and if I look at his demands, £280? I mean, actually, that is cheaper than he has been asking for. Our current highest earners are on about £260. Admittedly, one of them is Devontae West, whose name I've not really uttered. He is on far too much money. He is going to be released at the end of the year. But with 7 goals and 7 assists, is Bennett worth making one of the top earners? I need to think about it, really. And I do also need to consider the fact that we are already over the wage budget by £300, which is not ideal. At the same time, I don't really want to lose Bennett for nothing, so I think I'm best off just offering him £250 to get him here for another year. And it's kind of funny, he's got a promotional wage rise, but of course, the current contract expires before we would get promoted. And that does include even if we were to get promoted next year, bizarrely. Now, I was thinking that the budgets might get updated for next season and I might be given more wages because of the current bank balance, but I've not had any inbox item regarding that yet. End of season review, the board are happy, the fans are happy. None of these competition knockouts are my fault either. Aim for next season, I think it's got to be a mid-table finish. Let's be you know what? Let's be ambitious then. Let's aim for the playoffs. Let's do it. I believe. A lot of the players don't believe, apparently. Okay, Calm Bennett has signed that new deal, so that's some more good news, but that continues to push the wages up. Our first team is currently at 27 players. When I look at the players remaining here that aren't signed to proper deals, I think we can afford to let all of them go. I mean, Louis Rogers is the backup goalie, but we did get a goalkeeper in our youth intake. And maybe I'm an idiot, but I think Jack Roon can do the job if we really need him to come in and do the job. Perry Iandolo and Hamu Chene were good this year, but with the intake we've had and the attackers we've got in the wide areas, I don't think I need them. And as for Clement, the backup left-back, I mean, look, when he was in the team was awful. He left the team and they got loads of clean sheets. There is a correlation there. I'm not going to pretend it solved all the problems, but even just releasing those players has eased the wage burden a little. Jaden Foxwell confirmed to be joining us at the end of his contract. Very happy about that. Besides him, these other players' contracts expiring this year. I think we're just going to let go, including the loanees. Okay, the board have set the budgets for the year. I wonder if this coincides with the playoffs ending. Transfer budget, £32,000. Wage budget, they're actually giving me a bit more. We've got £402 free. I mean, I'll be honest, that kind of transfer budget, I don't know if we need at this level. I'd be immediately tempted just to stick plenty of it into the wages and give us £900 to spend on players. I can tell you resoundingly, with this money now available, there definitely will be an hour transfer special. Once the players I've got in on loan leave the club, this is the first team. And I actually really quite like it. Absolutely no denying that we need to bring in improvements, especially because I would love to get promoted next year, and only one team gets promoted automatically in this division. And well, I guess with that in mind, I'm going to go dust myself off, get towards the start of pre-season, and tomorrow we are back with a big old episode. If you are enjoying the series, go down below, make sure to drop a like. Back tomorrow for transfer special. Don't forget about the weekend upload too. Until next time, it is me, Jack, and I'll talk to you guys in a bit. I'm out.